Winter is coming.
Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. That's a good one, though. Hang on. Honey, who shrunk the housing market? With a third quarter straight out of an 80s sci-fi comedy, who and what factors are to blame for our current state? Billions in losses, worsening economic outlook, real estate agents struggle to pay their bills, and lending standards are tightening, while builders are stuck in the weeds with no way out. Is there a brilliant scientist with a magic laser that'll fix all of our issues, or are we drowning in a proverbial giant bowl of cereal just waiting to be devoured? Find out this week in real estate. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for tuning in to This Week in Real Estate. My name is Ray. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
And that is Dan. We are both two real estate agents. I'm in Arkansas. Dan is in LA. So all the way around the world, depending on which way you travel. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Please share the show. Go ahead and hit the share buttons. We got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot on the docket. We're talking about home flippers, searching for creative deals, home builders and their sentiment, what's going on with that. We're also going to hit this article about 37% of real estate agents not being able to pay their rent. What in the world? And it seems, okay, that's just incendiary, okay? We're also talking about NAR. They're banning the term handicap and are going to go with disabled. So we're going to talk about that and the origin of the word, where it came from. But then we have a whole bunch of real estate losses to dive into. Emin has a really good summary article. There's another lawsuit with Keller Williams and the former CEO. Airbnb is trying a new thing, the former founder, and a 3D development, which we've been covering for a long time. But now we have an entire development in Austin going in.
This is the first.
So those are all the articles that we're going to hit today. What'd you say, Dan?
This is the first full-on one. It's always been a few here and there, and then there was some building for homeless, smaller homes, and then in other countries and things. But this is the full-on, I think it says 100 homes it built. So stay tuned for that, because that's good.
Yeah. And we will see exactly. I've actually got a little insider information from a local Austin agent there. I talked to him earlier today. I'm going to keep him nameless. Maybe. I don't know. I'll share what he shared, and you can tell me if I should name him. It was pretty incendiary. So this is interesting. It's interesting what everyone thinks about this 3D printed development.
Yeah, save that, because I'm curious. All right, I'm curious. You got me hooked at least.
Yeah, there you go. We're going to talk about that towards the end of the show. We're going to try to keep the show around an hour. If you're tuning in on the podcast, we'd love it if you'd actually review the podcast. I think we got about 10 or 11 reviews. We'd love it if you guys would tell us if you like it or if you hate it. Just let us know, because we appreciate the feedback. And if you're watching live, you can comment, and then we can talk about you or your comment. Just like Scap the Appraiser did. He said, "Oh, hey, Matt LaMarche, I'm first today." He's on YouTube. Well done, Scap. He said, "Only the pandy." Do you have it, Matt? You're in Clubhouse with us right now.
He has the Rona.
Do you have the disease?
I've got it.
Oh no! Is this your first time?
First time, 2.5 years. Beat the odds.
Nice, dude. Congrats.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Now you're gonna have all the antibodies that we've all had now.
Thanks.
It's about time, Matt.
Appreciate it.
Well, and the reason you can hear Matt, he's not commenting through YouTube. He's actually commenting on Clubhouse. So we're also broadcasting on Clubhouse. And if you're joining us there, go up into the top of the Clubhouse, and there's a little green house. I want you to hit that house and be sure that you're following the Real Estate Networking Club. It's the largest group of real estate agents on any audio platform anywhere in the world. It's right there in Clubhouse. And so they're bringing back some of the Monday evening. We used to do this Brokers Lounge, and they have brought back a couple of times the Agent and Brokers Lounge, which is just a place to hang out with agents all across the country, talk about deals. You can ask for advice, all kinds of stuff. It's where I met a lot of friends. So if you're following the club, you'll get that notification. And then if you're joining us on YouTube and Facebook, be sure you're hitting the bell and subscribing there so that you get notified when we go live, and you can join us and join in the conversation, which that's what makes this show different, is that people are actually joining live and we're talking live instead of doing this pre-recorded show. So that's why we do it, is to get the feedback, get the interaction.
We didn't realize it when we first started doing the show. We just wanted to figure out how to go live and kind of do a live podcast kind of thing. It was kind of a shoot from the hip thing. And we were like, dude, we're getting comments and stuff. And it's helping us react, and getting your feedback live is pretty rad. You don't have to go down and read the comments. Now, we want you to comment, we want you to like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff, but you get to get live feedback and live interaction on these stories from around the globe, which is pretty rad.
Yeah, right away. We have several viewers tuning in, but I was looking at Facebook, and the view count on Facebook is lower than the actual view count that we're seeing. So that's really weird. Huh. I guess Facebook is only counting Facebook viewers. I'm going to hit the share button.
You know what's happening, right? Zuckerberg is putting so much energy into putting legs for people in the metaverse that he can't focus on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, that is true. He's got a lot on his plate currently. I think we could all say that Zuckerberg has a full plate.
And even though
I am sharing,
even though Elon is, just that dumpster fire over at Twitter is just amazing. If you guys don't know what's going on over there, you need to go check it out. It's kind of stopped for the moment because he stopped the $8 a month blue check, whatever they were calling it. But it's still driving more and more users to Twitter than ever.
I mean,
Zuckerberg's
I've been more active on Twitter in the last week than I think I've been in years.
Right,
so I'm a fan of everything that's happening over there. I like it.
100%. It's still a dumpster fire, and it's still the worst place on the internet. But, dude, these tweets are costing companies. You paid $8 and you can cost a company $1 billion.
So there's an issue with the verification, which, the verification, I think, was supposed to mean that it not just that it's a real human, which that's what it became. I think it was supposed to mean that it was that human in particular. And that's where the verification kind of had an issue. I think there was some wires crossed in the communication of what Elon was trying to do. But I honestly, what I have enjoyed most is Elon roasting people on Twitter.
He had a good one with one of his employees. He said something about, sorry, Twitter's taking so long.
Yeah, it's slow because 1,000 RCPs or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And then his one of the actual guys, one of the devs for Android, it was slow on Android, commented and said, this isn't the case. I've been working on it forever. And he just roasted him back and forth in the comments and then eventually fired him.
Yeah. He was like, oh, really? Then what's the right number? And then he was like, wait, you've been working on Android this whole time? What have you done to fix it? And then someone was like, we're still waiting on a response from this guy. And Elon was like, he's fired. So it's been very entertaining over there. We got to figure out a way to go live on the Twitters. Yeah. There is a way now to go live on Instagram, but I think we have to use like OBS and some kind of stream key stuff. So I've messaged, we use StreamYard to go live, and I've messaged them to see if we can figure out a way for us to also broadcast live on Instagram. So hopefully that'll come one day. But wherever you're joining us from, thank you guys for joining the show. Dan, could you tell everybody, before we dive into these headlines, could you tell everybody what this show is actually all about, though?
I would absolutely love to. Now, when before Elon ever even stepped into the realm of trolling online, and he's a pretty good dang troller. I mean, more free publicity for his products, right? Ray and I met here on the interwebs, on Facebook, in fact. Before the metaverse and before Zuckerberg was trying to give everyone legs. And I had an idea for a show because I am, in fact, a bearded man of real estate. And, now we call it This Week in Real Estate. But when I met Ray, I noticed something very interesting about him.
What's that, Daniel?
He's never actually seen the movie in which today's show is based on. He's never actually seen that movie. Not once.
So truth be told, I only saw this movie once. Now,
oh my God,
later in life,
oh boy.
I only will watch movies one time normally, because when I see like the trailer, or when I see the actual poster of a movie, the whole thing just kind of replays for me. And I can't get in the mood to like sit down and rewatch this thing that I know everything about it, except for a couple of major pictures that I really enjoy.
What about like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and these things that are epic?
Those would be the epic ones that I enjoy. Now,
I'm rewatching the Hobbit series right now.
What year did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids come out?
88, I think. Look it up. I think it's
88, 89, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, I was 22. So I remember it well.
Yeah, I was 7. And when that movie came out, I think I saw it one time and it was kind of scary for me. I didn't like it.
Really?
Oh yeah. I didn't like it.
I get that. Cause
I was a little kid. Little
I get
Ray
that because
didn't like it.
do you have the thumbnail you can show people?
Oh yeah. I should bring it up.
1989.
1989. Oh, you were like right on it.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I was an adult at the time.
I know Matt LaMarche is not feeling himself, but he is in the Clubhouse. If you could post the link to the YouTube so the Clubhouse folks can see the thumbnail, that'd be great.
I actually have it. Or can he do it?
Oh, he said "sí." That's Spanish for yes.
Yes, and that's
no. I said
Spanish.
As soon as I get my shirt.
As soon as you get your shirt. He's not talking about the one he's wearing. He wants a super fan shirt.
I know he is.
Right.
He's literally the super fan. He's the Cliff.
The Cliff. All right, here it is. Here it is for the YouTubers. Can you see it?
No.
You don't see it? Oh wait. I gotta hit this button too.
Bam. Yep.
There it is. So we've stopped using just a little bit about our YouTube strategy because we are getting more views. Our listeners on the podcast are continuing to climb, which is cool. We really appreciate you guys. So thank you for that. Our YouTube thumbnails are now without any text. And I think you can see clearly what is happening here. So I'm always replacing Dan and my face.
There's our big dumb, Ray's beautiful face and my big dumb face.
Yeah. Goes on the heads or bodies of other characters. And in this one, it's the scene in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids where I guess there's a spoon. I don't know what the spoon is trying to do, but there's a spoon in there. And then there's a magnifying glass and they're looking at the camera like, oh my gosh, something is there. And it's very tiny.
That's the scene where they see him in the milk. They see the son in the milk.
Right,
and he's about to, it's a whole build up. Like, and he's about to eat the kid. And then,
Matt said it's in the Cheerios. That's right.
The dog steps in and bites him or something. And then he sees his little kid. Yeah.
So that's the scene. And we have a little tiny house.
Who Shrunk the Housing Market?
Who Shrunk the Housing Market? Yeah. So anyway,
we got a lot of headlines that are shrinking this, less that, losses here.
Right.
Drawn back, not enough this. So it's Who Shrunk the Housing Market. But I digress.
Now, I've been in the housing market a long time, but I only saw the movie one time.
Okay, so that's unfortunate because it's a very good movie. By the way, these movies need to start.
I have to rewatch. No.
Yeah. It's really, really good. And then they went on to, Honey, I Blew Up the Baby or whatever it was.
I mean, I don't think there were any Oscars won from Honey.
But it's a fantastic 80s sci-fi comedy, which was, there's not a lot of those. Anyway, but I digress. I obviously noticed that Ray is a beautifully bearded man, but I also noticed that he loves giving value up front to not only his clients, but just to humans in general. So the show's about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
Yeah, and one of the ways we believe in giving back and is by knowing and being more is by knowing what in the world is happening in housing so that you can best advise your clients. And that's really why we did the show. We want about 1 hour where you guys can gather, listen to these stories, dive deep into the headlines, have some more discussion about it, instead of just living on the surface, talk to agents who are around the country, hear what's going on, and then be better informed to move about your day.
That's the best part to me, to be able to take this stuff back to my clients that I've heard around the country. Actually, what's happening in Georgia, what's happening in Arizona, what's happening in Texas. And it gives you a good jumping off point. It's really, really interesting to me. So I'm super happy to be here. And it's just awesome. I'm lucky to be part of it.
There have been some fun referrals passed back and forth there too in the Bearded Man network, I guess you could say. So, All right, you ready to go?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Whoa.
And just like that, we're in the headlines.
I think that was the best ever.
I feel like we were off. I think there's a delay, actually.
See, I thought
you wouldn't know.
Dead on.
You wouldn't know about the delay, but there is a delay.
I'm trying to plan for the delay.
Speaking of planning for the delay, home flippers search for creative deals as high rates cool the market. You had no idea it was that transition, but you ran right into it. So good job.
If you've been watching the show, Ray's been talking about this for a couple months at least.
Yeah. Oh, well, of the last 14 deals that we've done, 12 of them have been investors.
And creative,
a lot of
right?
investors. Yeah. Fix and flip investors have been forced to adjust their strategies in the face of a market quickly sliding towards contraction, according to a new survey shared with Inman. This article comes to us from Inman, by the way. Investors say they are still facing high competition for pre-flip homes. Once they buy those homes, their expectations for resale are looking increasingly gloomy, according to a new survey by John Burns Real Estate Consulting and interviews with investors. So let's break that down a little bit. Pre-flip homes, so homes that are disheveled, in bad shape,
right,
need a lot of work.
Distressed.
They're facing a lot of competition for those properties. And then once they flip them and put them back on the market, their expectations for resale are looking gloomy. What they could sell those homes that they just flipped for are now less than what they thought.
Right.
That's an interesting predicament. Peter Ledger, who's a fix and flip investor in Utah, said, "I've taken a big hit in the last few months. I've got a house that I'm losing 6 figures on." That's a big flip. You're losing 6 figures. That's more than most homes in Arkansas cost.
What is, wait. I mean, it's hard to lose $100,000 in LA if you buy something for 5 million, I guess. Like what?
Right.
What price point is that? That's crazy.
Twin Ports Real Estate. Who are you, Twin Ports? Drop your name. Thanks for watching.
It's a real estate agent in Twin Ports, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commenting as his page, that's totally fine, but I also want to know who you are.
Yeah.
He said the last I saw was that Flipper needs to buy for 50% of the anticipated sales price. Adam, that's you, man? Adam Johnson. That does not look like your avatar, sir.
Well, and longtime listener, commenter, and just a super smart dude. First time he's ever commented as a Twin Ports. So
yeah,
last number he saw was a flipper needs to buy for 50% of anticipated repaired sales price. Jeez. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are trying to do the 70% ARV, and that's been a hard number to get for years. So 50% ARV is going to be crazy hard. However, it's going to be crazy hard with increased competition for the home downtrodden. That's going to be tough. Well, these past couple of years, people could fix and flip and make a ton of money, said Jordan Fulmer, investor in Huntsville, Alabama. Market-wise, it's definitely changed. As far as investing-wise, you have to adapt and change your strategies. Sales have slowed significantly as higher rates have shrunk the buyer pool for flipped homes. Alex Thomas, a senior research analyst at John Burns Real Estate Consulting. So you have fewer buyers on the top end, more buyers on the lower end. That kind of makes sense with where we are in the economy, I guess.
Can I ask a question? So the last couple years, there you go. Yes. And it gave us another comment. So that's good. Thank you, Adam. So for the last couple of years, when inventory was super low and there was tons of buyers in the market and interest rates were really, really low, buyers were buying those really rough properties and just kind of figuring out, okay, well, I'll just fix it up over the next 5 to 10 years and stay here forever. Right. So, excuse me, like I'll say regular quote unquote buyers. And that was part, in all my rougher listings for the past couple of years, it was not just investors that were offering. It was regular first time buyers that were hoping it would qualify through FHA. Right. Now, has that buyer gone away? I don't know that part. Has that buyer gone away? Is there less of that competition for investors? Does that question make sense, Ray?
Yeah, I mean, for the low end buyer, I think it's more difficult for them to buy right now with some of the constraints tightening. But the biggest reason is because the rate that they have to pay in order for some of them to qualify at what they were qualifying 6 months ago to buy the type of home that fits their budget that they were looking at 6 months ago. People are having to buy down their rate like an insane amount in order for their payment to qualify them for that same home. And that's right now, there hasn't been the adjustment in the mind of the buyer to say, well, this is my new affordability target. But it's really interesting. You talk to buyers and they're like, hey, there's way too much competition in the market right now. When the market slows down a little bit and we see home prices start to go down, that's when I'm going to jump in the market. So now you have a high rate environment. The market has slowed. Home prices are starting to go down. And then buyers are like, well, I want to buy that house, but I can't afford it anymore. Even though the home prices have dropped a little bit.
Right.
So, I mean,
they shouldn't have waited.
As a global lesson to us all. Like, let's not in 10 years, 20 years, when this happens again, let's not forget this lesson. Like, let's not repeat. Let's think about this. And
Let's think about this, people.
it seems like a cycle here that needs to end. So I don't think that I think right now I'm actually making a graphic that I'll be putting on the Instagrams either later today or tomorrow morning. But it shows the loan types, and then it shows like I don't know what it's called. It's not a parenthesis. It's the one with the little dink in the middle of it. But then it highlights the FHA, VA, and RD loans, and it says, "Now's your chance." And I think that's true in a lot of ways, that the bottom 1/3 of the market, maybe that's why there's more competition for those homes that are disheveled and in bad condition.
It's what they can afford.
Because that's what they can afford, and the bottom 1/3 of the market is still there to purchase these homes.
Yeah, right. I don't know if we're going to cover, but 30-year mortgages are actually going down right now. The other chunk of loan types are up, but 30 years are down under 6%. It's come down a full point since its highest, right? It's at 6.5 or so. Didn't it get up towards 7.5?
Yeah, it did, but now it's gone down. It's gone down twice now.
Yeah.
Adam Johnson says, my buyers have been more particular on the condition of a home because of how much payment went up. Homes that really haven't dropped that much, I'm taking 6 to 8% off for a 6-month-old sale comp. Bottom 1/3 still can't buy. Monthly payment is high. Sales price. Yeah. That's what I'm seeing too. Hey, look at that. Jenny.
What's up?
She's joining us live for the first time. Jenny Lee.
So that's interesting. That part right there. Now, so during the hottest part of the market, they were just like, all right, I wanted a 10 out of 10. I'm looking at some 7 out of 10s. I can't get that, so I'm going to start looking at the 5 and 6s out of 10s. Now it's kind of switched. Now things are more expensive. Now it's like, okay, well, I need if I'm going to pay this much for a house, I need the 9 out of 10 where I don't have to do much.
Yeah, or I need my closing costs paid, or I need, we're starting to see some more concessions and sellers come off of their price with a good offer.
Wondering if builders might be adding any incentives.
That's a good question, Dan. Jenny also told me that those sound effects, if you're wearing AirPods, are pretty terrible. So I've been dropping them. I need somebody to go through and alter. Maybe I'll do that one day when I have time.
Yeah, right.
I've been putting the volume down lower as we do that. But that's good question that you brought up home builders, Dan. Home builder sentiment dropped to a decade low as builders add more incentives. Home builder sentiment in single family housing fell for the lowest level in a decade in November, as builders continue to struggle with higher costs for labor and materials and low demand for home buyers. A monthly sentiment index for the National Association of Home Builders dropped 5 points from October 33 to 33. That is the 11th straight monthly decline, the lowest since June of 2012, with the expectation of a very brief drop at the start of the pandy. A year ago, builder sentiment was at 83. Now we know that anything below 50 is negative, above 50 is positive. So this is pretty negative.
Pretty negative. And we have a story coming up. Make sure you stay tuned because we have a story coming up about different types of new construction, which I'm curious to see how those builders feel about this. Have they been interviewed for this type of sentiment?
So NAHB Chairman Jerry Conter, a home builder and developer in Savannah, Georgia, said that higher interest rates have significantly weakened demand for new homes as buyer traffic is becoming increasingly scarce. In the face of mortgage rates,
to build the home was cheaper. And
what? Say that again.
I said, but what if the process to build a home was cheaper and quicker?
Yeah. What if there was a way? In the face of mortgage rates that are more than twice what they were at the start of the year, builders have offered potential buyers better deals. The NAHB said that 59% reported using incentives, significant increase from September. So one of the reasons why builders are offering so many incentives is because they don't want those price per foots to drop. If you bought in a new construction neighborhood, the last thing you want to see is that your neighbor buys a similar build home for $10 less a foot. That would be a huge blow to you. So what they're trying to do is say, okay, we're going to give you the fence. We're going to throw in a fridge. We'll add this or that thing.
Sod.
Yeah, we'll repaint the master bedroom your ideal designer color. Yeah. What do you want? Let's keep the price the same. That's That's essentially what builders are doing. Those who can, and those who can't, they're in trouble. Those that have robbed Peter to pay Paul, that are taking from this build to pay this build, those are the ones that are going to be in trouble down the road. So they could also create some deals, either forced or not forced deals for buyers. Dusty Martin says, personally, builders in my area are still trying to get prices at higher build prices, even though labor and materials have come down. They haven't matched the market cost, and they're shocked. Well, part of the reason is when they started that build 8 to 12 months ago,
lumber was expensive.
That's the labor and materials cost that they're looking at, is the labor and materials cost from 8 to 12 months ago.
Lumber was what is it now? 400 per board foot or something. It's way down to pre-pandy levels. And it was 3 times as much, maybe 4. It was over 1,600 a board per board foot. Yeah. And so imagine they bought all that wood and they're like,
bring the wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great. But the other thing that's happening are that, with the higher rates, a lot of buyers can't afford what they could afford. So the builders are kind of up a creek now, but that's not going to get any better anytime soon. Lending standards tighten due to high rates and worsening economic outlook. This is actually from Housing Wire, which we've not talked about in a while because they put so much stuff behind their paywall that it was basically a useless website. Yeah. I guess they've released some finally. So Dan found this one. Thanks, Dan.
I found a couple other, but another one was paywall. I thought maybe one of us has access to it, but I don't. So,
well, it's just that. So a lot of the analysis and opinion is behind paywall. No real news is behind a paywall. So all of you that are like, oh, I really like reading the news, I want to look at more news and how these guys find their articles. There's only a couple of things that we're subscribed to, and we're subscribed for the opinion and the analysis. There's no news that's behind a paywall. And if it is, you can find it somewhere else.
Yeah, usually, especially with, a lot of them. Or you can do the quick trick where you go to the website and before the paywall pops up, you hit copy all. You hit
yeah. You could also go to the source code and find the whole article right there.
There's ways around it, by the way. And if you copy all, you're going to get that entire web page, and you just hit paste into whatever document you like to, and then you take out what you like. But anyway, that's just a quick little hack trick.
That is what we've done before.
Because we can't really share opinion and analysis on the show because that's what we do. That's our job, right?
Yeah. And the listeners, the commenters.
Yeah, that's why we do this. But the all the basic news. But yeah, Housing Wire, we were going to a couple times a week. There was such juicy stuff. And I think they got a little full of themselves.
They put, and they did it with Real Trends too. It's owned by the same company. Real Trends and Housing Wire went so much behind a paywall that we basically had to take them off the sources list. Yeah. And we have a sources list and we also have a release list, a little behind the scenes peek. We have like the Fed Reserve release list, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. Bureau of Economic Indicator, NAHB releases, Fannie Mae Research and Insights, NAR statistics schedule. So on every one of our rundowns, that's at the top, and we can go through there and check those releases and see if there's any news for that day.
Yeah.
So all the articles,
websites, by the way.
Yeah, this is riveting, right? So all the articles, almost all the articles that we read or talk about, are reporters using those as sources. So a lot of times, sometimes the reporter's not done reading or writing their thing yet. Yeah. And so we'll just go to the source and report on the actual report. So sometimes you'll see that. But anyway, finally, Housing Wire gives us a good article here. Lending standards tightened due to rates worsening economic outlook. The mortgage credit availability index fell by 0.5% to 102 last month, making the 8th consecutive month of decline. It caused it to reach its lowest level since March of 2013. So the builder sentiment is down to 2012 levels. The mortgage credit availability index is down to 2013 levels. So there's a quote from Joel Kahn, NBA's Vice President, Deputy Chief Economist. He said that lenders continue to reduce their capacity and are eliminating some loan offerings, including certain types of refinance products, and others require less than full borrower documentation. So in other words, those things that we enjoyed while the market was high, like, hey, here's a new loan and you don't really have to do this and you don't have to do that. It makes it a lot easier. Those are now going away very quickly. Rate lock volume dropped by more than 60% year over year, according to the NBA, and rate term refis are down a staggering 92.6% compared to October of 2021.
I mean, come on, that's a no-brainer. But it seems to me like now would be the time to loosen standards, right? Just to kind of anyone that's close, or I mean,
well, doesn't that head us right to the subprime?
no, I don't mean give away things with, stated income and no docs debt or no docs loans, but why tighten when it's already just tough to qualify because your payment's going to be a lot and you have to put a bigger down payment down because prices are up. I mean,
didn't we talk for a long time about how inventory was the main issue and the government should find some way to help the sellers, and now that doesn't look like that's gonna matter.
It's way too late for that. We've been talking about it for 5 years on this show, and it's way too late for that. I mean, I saw this interesting video. It's another clickbaity headline, but it's essentially the housing inventory crisis is over. And his first slide is, for the viewers, I'm literally mirroring or mimicking a graph, and it shows, the same graphs we've shown, right? So this is my hand, and here's where inventory was up here, and it's down, then it kind of goes back up, and then it just goes way down for a few years. And then it's kind of creeped back up, and he's trying to justify. I mean, it's so insane to me. And this thing had like 120,000 views or something. He's trying to justify that, well, more buyers are taking a step back right now. Okay. But they also took a step back after 08 and took a step back until what, Ray? 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And we're still 2 million homes less than then. It's interesting to see these people's takes on it. And then you go to the page and it's like, no, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm just a guy. I'm just like a dude that just kind of wanted to make a video. I mean, hey, gets more views than we do. So,
I mean, he's that is his job now as YouTuber.
Yeah.
So, Oh, and I found out. So there's also a chat over here in Clubhouse. Thanks Clubhouse chat. Hey, you can also delete comments. So if there is a spammer in there, you can just delete the comment like I did, which is kind of nice.
I always like to respond to him and have a fun conversation with him.
Jack Atteridge said, remember, no income verification? Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah. And he likes your use of the hand. Good job with the hand. Adam Johnson said, lenders have to keep a loan for 4 years to make any money on it. They believe that rates will lower in the next 4 years, so mortgage will get refinanced and they'll lose money. Yeah, I mean, that's why they borrow money to the other bank, because it's less risky and they know what they're going to make. That's what the Fed funds rate is. So yeah, that's consumer price index CPI rose by 7.7 year over year, making it the smallest 12-month increase. With the bond and stock market rallying to lighter than expected inflation, Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller on Sunday reiterated, quote, "We still have a long ways to go," unquote, before the U.S. central bank stops raising rates. So it looks like rates are going to continue to go up.
Although they've just gone down quite a good chunk. I mean, a full quarter point in the last few days here. Hey, Olivia, you on? I yelled. I wanted to yell into my microphone like I was yelling at him through my phone. Are you on Clubhouse? Can you comment real quick on what's going on in Canada?
Yeah, are y'all seeing the same thing? He just joined. So we're talking about the lenders tightening some of their rules. They were just kind of giving away money. And now that stuff's starting to stop. Are y'all seeing that? You may not be.
So the rule that we have for lending is to qualify a client. It's a posted rate 2% above the 5-year rate. So right now, to qualify, you need to qualify. I think it's $750. I would have to ask the mortgage lender. I don't have the exact rate. So the money has been tighter since the beginning of the rate hike cycle. Borrowing power has gone down about 35%. So someone that was qualified for, let's say, about $1 million is now at 700 or 650 that they qualify for. So it has tightened by itself.
Wow.
That was kind of my point. It's kind of tightened itself. But Adam makes that good point after the other comment you read. He said that's why they're tightening up. They don't want the loans.
Yeah. Well, when that happens, that means that the whole market, and that's kind of where the genesis of our thumbnail came from. That means the whole market is shrinking, right? And if the whole market shrinks, you're going to have a whole lot of real estate agents that suddenly aren't making money. And then they're not going to pay their rent. Wait, what? Rent?
Yeah,
That,
right. You
What?
heard that right. Rent.
rent?
Yeah.
So 37% of real estate agents in the US couldn't afford to pay their rent in October. Now, some would say this headline's incendiary. Some would say, and this headline best, by the way, Jason Pantana sent me this article. So thanks, Jason, for being a contributor. He said, hey, you should talk about this. 37% of real estate agents in the US couldn't afford to pay their rent in October. Another bad sign for the housing market. Here's 3 key takeaways. And this article comes to us from Yahoo, MoneyWise. As of September, the number of newly listed homes has dropped 20%. And homes are lingering on the market. Guess how long? Guess how long homes are lingering on the market?
It's
Dan?
up to 28 days now.
You're really good. 32 days. Yeah.
How many?
15 more days than the year before. 32 days on the market. Oh my goodness. What a failing housing crisis. But if you need yet another sign that the market is in decline, this is, oh gosh, this article is written such bad. If you need another sign that the market is in decline, just ask the people who've made it their business, real estate agents. In October, 37% of real estate agents struggled to pay their rent on their offices, a 10% increase from the month before. So it's not talking about realtors trying to pay their house. It's talking about real estate offices
Now,
not paying rent.
I'd be curious.
Yeah.
What about these big offices, these overinflated offices where they go, we have 300 agents in our office, but all of a sudden, either they leave the business or they don't do any business, and all of a sudden they're down to 100 or whatever. And now you have this. I mean, these offices are huge, and the costs they incur are huge. That's got to be part of it. And then all the mortgage companies having horrible third quarters, and the Zillows and the Redfins and the Open Doors all failing in the third quarter, all these layoffs, it's got to be a part of this, right?
I mean, that's what you would think. The membership is at an all-time high of 1.56 million in 2021, up from 1.49 million. But so many agents are kind of saying, I'm not going to be there anymore. I'm also wondering how many offices are restructuring. We're in the middle of restructuring because of all the cloud brokerages that are out there, and people are not actually using an office. And a lot of people had an office, and then they audited that and watched how many people came in that office for a month, and were like, wait, we have 50 people in our company and only 3 or 4 people are coming to the office for the entire month. Right. We're just going to get rid of the office. But in October, 37%, 37% of those offices didn't pay their rent or struggled to pay their rent. Now, question.
How do they know struggled? What if they just didn't pay it? They're just done with the rental and they just let it lapse. Like,
what's the usual number?
Right.
What's the difference?
36%.
It's only a 10% increase from the month before.
No. And it also says real estate agents, not brokerages, not big companies.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So
incendiary.
But in a lot of, that's a good question too. In a lot of states, it's required to be a broker in order to have a local office.
Yeah.
But how many real estate agents have a little office that they're like, maybe I'll keep it, maybe I won't.
I mean, I'm sitting at mine.
So I really don't want to get that much into the article. It was a good article. I'm glad Jason sent it to me because it's kind of funny how incendiary they try to make it based on these real estate offices not paying their rent, which is only a 10% increase from the year before.
And then Dusty has a new headline for you. They should change it.
Dusty's headline says, Dateline, bottle girls and bartenders realize real estate is hard.
That's what I've been saying. All these new agents. And I just talked to another.
Adam Johnson's, they paid their rent. That's good.
So he's good for another month. That's the picture I'm used to. Not the twin peaks, twin pines, twin.
But so that's, I don't know. This doesn't sound like I probably wouldn't use this if I was a consumer, which this article is written to consumers. If I was a consumer, I would likely not use the number of real estate offices that struggle to pay their rent as a barometer of the housing market.
No, not at all. And I just talked to someone, a person that's, she's like, I'm studying and I'm going to go get my license. I'm all, not a good time.
Yeah, that Reddit is one of my favorite secret places to go because it's
Yes,
just
Leighton, you should.
so funny to see the realtor group there, the real estate group there, and the agents. They're like, "Hey, I'm brand new. I got my license. What's some advice?" And people just light up the comments with like terrible advice. It's so funny. But then occasionally you'll have somebody that's like honest, like, "Hey, I got my license in 2020, late 2020. I've been doing real estate for just over a year, and I don't have any money and nothing's coming in. What happened?" It's like they don't even see it. They didn't see it coming. They don't know. So it's pretty funny. Leighton Wood, he said,
Yes.
"Did I get my real estate license?" I mean, yeah. Why not? It depends on who you're aligned with, my friend. So
I'm predicting, and this won't be one of my predictions for the prediction shows, but I'm predicting that real estate teams are going to become a thing again and grow for sure. Because
we're in
agents are going to
growth
have to go
mode
somewhere.
My team is in growth mode currently. And there's a lot of agents that we're talking to that are like picking up extra jobs and side hustles, but we're busier than ever. And so we're growing. Like we have more lead flow. We have more calls. We're here. We're here for it.
I'm going to move to Little Rock and join Ray's team.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
We won't be broadcasting around the world. Well, I guess it still depends on which direction you go.
Well, if we're sitting next to each other, just go that way.
It's even more.
It's even farther around the world.
That would be cool to do a podcast in person where we're both sitting in the same room. We wouldn't know what to do.
Dude,
We've never done that.
I was gonna, and then the Rona hit. I was literally planning on it that May. I had my flights booked and everything. I was like, where's a good place to stay? And then the Rona hit. It's like, nah, you guys aren't going to do a show together.
No, that's not going to happen. Well, let's see. Olivier is right. He said some teams will grow and some teams will disappear.
Yeah. And Adam says he's waiting for all the dinosaurs to retire, which right now.
I think dinosaurs don't retire, sir. They become extinct. There's usually something that kills them off.
That's impressive.
Well, I'm just saying they don't usually just saunter off into nothing. There's usually like a big event, and then a lot of dinosaurs disappear.
No, well, this is the big event. It's happening right now. Yeah. But no, what you do is they hang out and they get a few listings a year, and then every time you try to deal with them, they go, "I've been doing this for 30 years." Yeah, well, I actually the last 20 years, and you've done 8 deals in 20 years. So
I actually think that those cats, if they can figure out the tech, those cats are the ones that are going to make it long term. I think the ones that are going to have trouble are the ones that have been in the business 2 to 3 years. Those are the ones that are going to really struggle unless they decide to actually turn it up and do the work, the old school stuff.
Well, think about those agents that were in the game before there was a multiple listing service. They had to open a book and scroll. I mean, they were finding business.
That's hard.
Technology.
They were door knocking, they were phone calling, and they still do.
And guess what? That stuff works right now. That stuff is back to working again. It never stopped working, but
but now more people are going to do it. They're going to have to do it.
They do. Well, okay, we're giving them props, but we do have to. They have to get rid of their fax machines. That's the one caveat. Hey, dinosaurs, keep working.
Still have a fax number.
Keep figuring things out. Keep doing things the old school way, but got to get rid of your fax machines.
But I have to say though, on the same token, you young idiots, if someone's like, "Hey, fax me that," and you don't know how to fax that offer, you're going to miss out. And I'm going to fax them that offer because I have a fax line. So I can communicate with you no matter where you like to communicate. I can communicate.
Yeah, but it's a virtual fax line. It'll fax it to your email, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a fax machine.
No, it's a digital fax line. So if I can receive a fax and it goes right to my email, and then I can send a fax too the same way. So super easy. So get tools, youngins. Get tools. Speaking of getting tools, with the market crashing and everything that's happening around us, one of the things we love is having a professional organization that stands by our side and really takes up causes that matter.
For instance,
NAR spent a lot of time on this one. They voted to end the use of the term handicap in the Realtor Code of Ethics. Did that really take a vote, or can somebody not just edit that?
But wait.
Vote on that.
Wait, though. Like
the editor just changed the word.
Okay, Ray, let's go back a minute.
Yeah.
What was the last change? Do you remember that we talked about?
To the Code of Ethics? I remember them saying that now your social media, you are a realtor everywhere you are. So now your personal social media can also be up for ethics violations and all kinds of stuff.
There's that. And then remember they were getting there was a code that was in there from like the 50s or 60s or 70s or something that finally they struck out because it was racist. But they just kept changing it over the years.
And then they apologized for it. Yeah, I remember that.
And then I don't know if this is in the Code of Ethics, but remember what they did to bedroom number 1? We can't call it the old term.
Oh yeah, now it's a primary. I don't think that's in the I don't think that word is used in the Code of Ethics, but they did. So they have asked us to not use the word master bedroom. They want us to use primary bedroom.
Primary bedroom because of the connotations. So now we can't say. I thought handicapped was the term.
Well, no. So a lot of people. So only recently.
I'm going to get canceled today, by the way, because we're going to go down a path.
Can you even? Do I need to? Maybe I should say instead of handicap, we just. Is that better? So
yeah, sure.
So used to, well, I'll get into the history in a second, but here's the language. It's in Article 10 of the Realtor Code of Ethics. Said realtor shall not deny equal professional services to any person's reason of race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity.
Disability is very negative to me. Yeah. First of all, it's like if I.
When did they add gender identity?
I don't know. We didn't do a story on it. I'm assuming the last couple
of years.
We
didn't do a story on it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's new, isn't that? Isn't that new?
I'm happy about. I identify as a broom. So
so you know on Zoom you can put your pronouns in Zoom. Well, Zoom lets you put whatever you want as your pronoun. So I put like Realtor or my Instagram handle because it's a nice little additional thing that I put on there.
I identify as a realtor.
I'm looking this up. I don't know when that was added. That's interesting. I didn't know that was in there. Realtors should not be parties to any plan or agreement to discriminate against a person based on the race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation. Realtors in the real estate employment practice shall not discriminate against any persons based on race, blah, blah, blah. Same disability, familial status. So they're using the word disability instead of handicap. I feel like they just could have done a control F handicap and replace it with disability.
Yeah.
And be done with it without a vote, but I guess they wanted to make a point.
But I want to know though, why did they change this? Was there some big uproar? Or, by the way, disability is so negative.
Oh, really? That's funny.
What?
Adam Johnson said I never called it the master bedroom. Really? That's just that's.
I think he's being facetious with the S on there. I think I'm not sure.
Oh,
he can correct.
Oh, maybe.
I'm guessing it's hard to translate text sometimes, but like with
yeah, right, there you go.
So but with disabilities, it's like disown, disarray. It's a little more negative to me, and you can't handicap.
I thought disability was
handicapable.
Yeah, I thought disability was more negative, honestly.
Right.
And I don't know because I'm not a handicapable person. I don't know what to say these days. I'm not either of them. So it's just not a word that I use a lot. So, but I always thought that disability was a negative connotation.
Same. And
so
now I'm being told I have to say that.
Now let me tell you the origin of the word handicap. Do you know where it came from?
No, I have no idea. No.
I think this is fascinating. So before handicap, they used to use the term affliction.
Okay. That could be, yeah. I understand the change there.
Yeah. So that's negative. That's basically saying this is something you have and you can't overcome it.
Yeah, you're afflicted with something.
You're afflicted with something, so you're different from all of us. And you have this affliction that came from the universe, God, or whoever, and this is your hardship, right?
Affliction, right, yeah.
So they changed the term to handicap, and originally comes from a game called Hand in Cap, which is a game of chance, which every person would have an equal chance of winning and succeeding at the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's later slang from that game.
Yeah, that's the slang from the game.
Dude,
later,
that's awesome.
Horse racing, you would handicap a fast horse by hanging stones on it to slow it down. So what the mindset was behind using the word handicap versus affliction is that everyone has an equal chance, and just because you have something that slows you down doesn't mean you can't win too.
Right. And it even things out a little bit, even the playing field a little bit, even the terminology out a little bit. And go, look, You don't have an affliction. You don't have a disability. You're just like everyone else.
Right.
You're
And before I get
handicapped.
canceled,
Yeah.
I should tell you the source is from disabilityhistorymuseum.org.
It's from the source.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I'm not making this up. That's on their website, and that's where it's from.
this is a bad change. This is a bad look. It's gonna.
It's weird. It's just weird. I guess
Why?
it's colloquialism that the society is using today that somehow views the word handicapped as negative. I never thought about it as negative. I thought it was more positive than the word disability. But who am I?
I never even thought about it though.
I don't know.
Like-
NAR has to be all PC and stuff because then they go and they try to, get policies changed for us. And if they have
When they
something in
can
their
say-
code of ethics that's remotely could be misconstrued, then that politician doesn't want to stand with us for whatever weird reason that the anti-handicap word, not anti-handicap people, but
Don't stop there, Ray.
anti-handicap
Don't-
group, word group that
That's a bad
whoever
time to
is
stop your sentence.
whoever's politicking with the anti-handicap word people, I guess we're trying to align with somewhere.
I want to know who
don't know.
championed this, who pushed this through. Like, yes. And I can guarantee you, Ray, they did not do their research like you did to find out where the word came from, which means give everyone a chance. Everyone is equal. Everyone has a chance at winning or playing or being part of this.
Yeah.
And now they've changed it to disability. This is clearly saying an ability you don't have. It's clearly stating that. So guess what, NAR? I'm not doing it. I'm not changing. I'm not doing it. Come after me, bro. Go ahead. I didn't even pay my rent this month, so you can.
What are you gonna do to him now?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You can't do anything about it.
Okay, so wait, there's some good activity here in the comments. Vince says Jack Nicklaus' bedroom is a master's bedroom. Yeah, very good.
He won the Masters tournament.
Yeah, Realtor.com is trying to stay relevant. At least they didn't try to come up with a new logo.
Don't do
That's
it.
what Adam Johnson said.
Just leave it. We're good.
Jack Hedridge says, so what is a good word for this? Do you lose the label and talk about the accommodation being made, like wheelchair, ramp, and walk-in shower?
Right.
I'm not sure, but I don't like the change.
Because it was always handicap
accessible.
Right?
Right. Yeah. Now it's different abled accessible. I mean, what do you
abled?
How do you talk?
No,
how do you
okay,
communicate
that
this home is perfect for someone with a disability? Yeah.
Tucked away in Lakewood, California, you'll find this cozy 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home that boasts a differently abled, and no matter how you are abled, you are going to be able to access all points of this beautifully appointed home. There you go. I just wrote you a description for anyone in Lakewood.
Yeah, ADA is what Adam Johnson says. ADA accessible.
Oh, I thought he was just trying to type his own name and forgot the M.
It's Adam accessible. Just use the word Adam wherever. No, ADA accessible. Yeah, that is what we put in the little thing, but that's not real pretty. It's not a flowery word.
Checkbox. That's like you're going down your checklist and like it's got curbs, it's got trees, it's ADA accessible.
ADA accessible.
It's got a bit of a view.
That's not a beautiful marketing speak of a way to make someone feel at home.
Although I think what I did just kind of, and no matter how you are abled,
everyone
have
able
access to all the beautiful the appointments of this home.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Accessible bath.
Accessible, but what I mean,
I don't know. I'm not doing it.
What makes a non-accessible bath? I don't get it. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, baths.
But anyway, so now we know a little history. Handicapped was not meant to be negative at all in the beginning. It was meant to be a positive thing. Yeah, just the opposite. It was supposed to be like a mode of triumph, right? Where, this is an overcome type of story.
Yeah.
But
it's been considered an affliction for hundreds of years, and now you're handicapped.
Yeah, which is, I don't know.
If anything, NAR needs to take a stand against boasts. Forget handicapped. Forget that. They need to get rid of the word boasts.
Yes.
Homes don't boast anything anymore. We need to stop.
Please. It does not. Your entryway does not boast hardwood floors. Just like the realtor market doesn't boast a good place for jobs right now. That's because Impact is faced with $13 million in loss in Q3 and slashed 47% of jobs year over year.
Can I ask a question up front, Ray?
Yeah.
What is Impac? I didn't read this article.
Impac is a mortgage holdings company.
Mortgage holdings. Okay, there we go. So more in the lending industry being scaled back.
Right. And this is going to be a very short article that we're talking about. Interest rate, credit spread measures with a tenant market volatility and illiquidity were unrelenting in the third quarter of 2022. George, I can't say his last name, Impac's chairman and CEO said in a statement, the company adapted a defensive risk off posture in the fourth quarter. So they're laying off a bunch of people. California-based lender. You don't deal with them there? You're in California.
I've never heard of them. They're part of the mass exodus, I guess. I've never heard of them.
Impac. Their employees are now.
Just Impac.
Impac. IMPAC.
Yeah, I had never heard of them.
I don't even think they're in our market, but they're laying 47% of their jobs off.
I pretty much only work with two lenders though, unless the buyer comes with their own lender. But for the most part, I refer them to one of the two lenders I mainly work with. So it's not really, I don't like go out of my way to look up Impac or even I've never, I guess, I don't know. Like I've never seen anything on one of my listings. Like I've seen Rocket Mortgage. I've never worked with Rocket Mortgage, but I've seen those coming from buyers on my listings, but I've never heard of Impac.
Just a note on the previous article, someone said universal design. Vince said universal design. Yeah, it's not bad. It's interesting. I mean, basically the only reason why they're bringing this up is because it's going to be in a long string of other information we're talking about, which we should get to the other one right now.
Yep.
loanDepot. What's going on with them? So you have a company like Impac that is pulling back on the loans that they're providing in the non-QM. The loanDepot said that they're ending their purchase agreement and shrinking refunding capacity. So the lender terminated a master repurchase agreement with JVB Financial Group and scaled back with Jefferies funding. California-based mortgage lender loanDepot terminated a master purchase agreement, reducing its funding capacity amid sharply decreasing originations. Quote, the maximum amount available for financing of mortgage loans and mortgage-related securities available under the MRA and certain ancillary documents was $750 million, according to loanDepot's 8K filings. No borrowings are currently outstanding. The termination follows loanDepot's renegotiation that it had with Jefferies. As a result, the funding capacity of its lending partners decreased by 42.4%.
Oof.
It's a drop from $9.9 billion in June to $5.7 billion. Wow.
That's a big chunk, but they're still, thriving.
Again, reducing borrower capacity, which goes back to the earlier article and what Adam was talking about, how it's the lenders that don't want to loan these loans right now.
That, and then Olivier talking about, you were pre-approved for $1 million. Now it's really only $650.
Yeah. Which brings us kind of to the follow-up article that we've been talking about the Q3 releases now, I guess, for a couple of weeks.
A lot of them.
And Inman has a pretty good summation article on that. Let's go to that. Billions in losses, a brutal market, and more from the Q3 earnings season. I will show this because I love this picture of this trader that they have on here. So this article comes to us from Inman. It's a good summation of everything we've been talking about for a little bit. I got to put it, add to stream. There it is. All right. So see the guy with white hair with the amazed face? That's a trader. So billions in losses for a brutal market and more from the Q3 earnings season. Slow market is taking a toll on big real estate companies, though not every firm is suffering equally. A look back on the past 3 dramatic weeks of third quarter wins and losses and draws. Over the past weeks, publicly traded companies revealed how much money they made or lost between July and September, which happened in one of the most tumultuous times in recent history. Though the mortgage rates have been rising for much of the year, they shot up past 6% during the third quarter. which at the time was a stunning development and far above what most experts had predicted, including us. Predictability of the raising rates also led to falling home buyer activity. As a result, third quarter was made it abundantly clear that the housing market downturn could likely be more severe and longer lasting than most forecasts are predicting. There are a few positive surprises as well. Not every company is feeling the pain, but overall, earnings season was the first detailed glimpse into the financial costs of the downturn. iBuying facing an existential moment. You could say that. Losing $1 billion, that's kind of existential. Opendoor lost $1 billion in the third quarter alone. I didn't realize.
No. 936 million. Right?
Oh, yeah, right. Not quite. Almost 900.
Not $1 billion. We did not get into whatever that is, 12 digits or whatever that is.
Actually, it was 928. Yeah, 928 million. That number just shy of 1 billion is the amount that Opendoor lost in the third quarter. Now, comprehend this. It's not saying that that's what they lost year to date. That's what they lost in the third quarter alone. Yeah.
Wait till the beginning of next year when fourth quarter results come out.
Yearly earnings. Yeah. The company was quick to point out that the losses weren't purely cash, but rather were due to adjusting the valuation of homes that the company had in its inventory.
Yeah, it's minor. Yeah. It's not a big deal.
So what? We bought the homes for double what we paid for.
It's not $1 billion, dude. It's only 928 million. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Like, what are you guys even talking about? Shut up.
Rival OfferPad, reporting earnings a day earlier, revealed that it lost 80 million, which looks like, they are in such a good position.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But also that one that reversed several months of profitability for the second largest dedicated iBuyer. That news also sent OfferPad shares tumbling. Significantly, Redfin, of the third of the remaining three big iBuyers, announced its earnings season that is shutting down its iBuying operations. Staggering amount of money and risk for a now uncertain benefit was the quote he used.
Wait, so you mean if I overpay for a house by 75 grand and then sell it for 50 grand less than that, that's bad?
Traditionally, that's the opposite of what an investor might do.
Now, if I did that on thousands of homes, you're saying I would lose money?
No. You would definitely make up for it on volume what you lose in margin.
But what if more people went to my website and I sold advertising? What if that happened?
Just another stream of revenue that you can use to buy more properties.
So what I'm hearing is there's a new flip right now we're going to go offer on, and we're competing. So you're saying go up another 10 grand.
As long as you can put AdSense on your website. Okay. Google AdSense. Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer. Let's see what happens to the Q4 results.
Have your investor use their website to attract people and then sell ads on it. Or they can also sell leads to other real estate agents. They'll buy them. As a matter of fact, they'll pay like a 35% referral fee on it if you do that.
I was going to do 40 to 50%. You think that's good?
Some agents will do it.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. You may not get top quality agents the higher you make that referral, but hey, who really cares?
We're referring them out, right? Eventually, someone's going to get it to close.
It's not going to leave you with a black eye.
No.
So you're just a referring website.
Yeah. Just started here.
The second is more immediate. If iBuyers can turn around their stock performance, they face the risk of getting kicked out of the market. That's because if a company spends more than a month with shares trading below $1, it can be delisted.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Something that would make it far harder to trade.
No, Ray, sorry, wrong term. Dislisted. You can't say delisted anymore. It's dislisted.
Unlisted.
Right. No, it's got to be dislisted.
Okay. It would make it far harder to trade. That's actually a pretty big deal. What are they trading at right now?
I don't know. Wait, which company?
Redfin and what are all the iBuyers who are public? I guess it's just Redfin, right?
I'll look it up right now. If
an iBuyer can't turn around their stock performance, they face the risk of getting kicked out of the market. I guess it would be OfferPad. Look up OfferPad and Opendoor.
Check out Adam's most recent comment too.
I'll look at Opendoor.
$4.75 is Redfin Corp right now.
Opendoor Technologies is $1.92.
Oof.
And they're going down still. and look
And
up offer. You look up offer pad.
Offer pad. 84 cents.
Oh, darn. All right. So if they spend more in a month than what they make, then apparently they're going to get kicked out. That's crazy.
And it's been they peaked. I mean,
isn't that enough to make a whole bunch of, I mean, I guess I'm understanding this correct. Isn't that what it says? OfferPad's shares last rose above $1 earlier this month. Open Door shares haven't fallen below the dollar mark, but they've been heading that direction and came dangerously close after this latest evening's report.
Well,
both companies' share prices were up somewhat Friday, but if the iPire can't entice Wall Street traders, and the majority of the way they could face bigger problems sooner rather than later. If the iBuyers can't turn around their stock performance, they face the risk of getting kicked out of the market. That's because if a company spends more than a month with shares trading below $1, it's not saying that it spends more in a month. If it is below $1, if it's a penny stock for more than a month, if it's below $1 for more than a month, it gets delisted. Very interesting. I didn't know that.
Specifically, if you go back year to date, they're down 87%, almost 88%.
Adam Johnson says, I don't understand why the huge iBuyers don't remodel, rent, and hold. They only lose money once the asset is gone. I'm guessing they were heavily leveraged with short-term loans. Yeah, it's like your hard money lenders. They can't possibly rent it for what they would need in order to get back.
Yeah, Open Doors down 87%.
Ooh.
Year to date. This is year to date.
You know, if OfferPad is the one you looked up, right? That was below $1.
Is the last one that's at 84 cents now. Yes.
So when did they go below $1?
That was earlier this year. They were at 92 cents a month ago. So
wait, if they're under $1 for a month, they could be delisted. What triggers the delist?
Last time they were over $1 looks to be Wednesday, October 26th, but they were down below $1 October.
So they have to go. Yeah, but they have to stay there. So November 26th, we need to check it out.
Yeah,
because if they are there for a month, then they could be delisted. That's wild.
It looks like they have been there since early October.
You would think if that happens, then you're going to have a bunch of people look at Open Door and say, "Wait, they're at $1.92. I got to get out of there while it's easy."
99 cents on October 10th. That's when they dipped under $1. That's OfferPad specifically.
You think there's like a person in the cubicle for the SEC that's like, we'll let them ride for a little bit, see if they can get that back. Like, is it a staunch rule or what is it?
Is it just one guy like, we're at 99 cents. Do they like set a reminder on their phone? Check for a month from now to see if they stayed under $1.
Olivier said you can still trade the stock, but it's not part of the indices. Yeah, they get off of the NASDAQ.
They're still public. You can't dispublic yourself.
Yeah, Redfin was $38 a year ago. Now it's $4.75.
Oh. Well,
happy to report that, most of the time, real estate stocks kind of follow the market, right? I mean, if you are a real estate company and the real estate market is not doing so hot right now, then your company's stock is also not going to do so hot, no matter where you are. So that's just going to be run of the mill. It's normal. Okay. Speaking of big companies in a little bit of trouble, is Keller Williams okay?
Might want to reach out to KW. Hey, you good? You okay?
Your KW friends. They had the CEO thing, and John Davis was let go, and now he's suing Gary Keller for $300 million.
And this is 2018 or 19. They let him go. 19, I think, is when they let him go.
Was it that long ago? I thought it was more recent.
I think it is. Yeah.
While we covered it, it feels like yesterday.
Well, that's life. Goes by when you're having fun.
So the complaint came out October 27th this year. It says in the suit, Davis alleges that he resigned from KW because of disagreement with Keller over a business strategy that he believed would bring less income to Keller Williams offices, and that Keller and team responded by smearing him and withholding Dow's accusations from him. So Igna Dow was the CEO of multiple Keller Williams offices who lodged allegations against Davis in March.
Yeah, we covered that. That's why
Yeah.
it feels fresh.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah, we covered that.
Davis declined to comment for this story, but his spokesperson, Paul Aumont, told Inman that told that a non-disparagement clause in Davis's separation agreement with Keller Williams had expired in early November. Therefore, Davis is now defending himself against the company's alleged actions.
And it does say here, I found the original article we did, it covers, it says Davis, who resigned as Keller Williams CEO in 2019. So
Yeah.
it has been 3 years. But now there's
The
a part
suits-
we need to cover here, Ray.
300 million. Where's that number come from? 300 million? Is that the
No,
part we need to? That's a lot.
Absolutely. Let's circle back to that. Let's talk about the first article that accuses him of him and then the culture. She accuses more than just him, but the culture, right? More than 20 years of, you can beep all this. 20 years of, we can say, misconduct. There you go. Disconduct. She's dis now. Beep. But,
I know, right?
And in that time, or in that suit, and now I don't know the result of this suit, because that was Gary Keller kind of had John Davis's back, I guess, or they were in the same boat, right?
I think at the time.
Yeah, they were at the time. So they were in the same boat. But in that article, no one ever says, no, we didn't do that.
Yeah, no one ever. Yeah, they don't deny
vehemently disputes that these allegations are untrue. No one ever says that. They just said, "Oh no, you just your statute of limitations is up. So you can't say anything now." Like, that's essentially what their response was. That's wild to me. And now that I guess this NDA is off of John Davis's,
there's some kind of a non-disparagement clause in Davis's separation agreement.
Over. Now he's going. Now what's so crazy is he's going
defend
after
himself.
Gary, though.
So apparently he couldn't say anything. Apparently he couldn't say anything due to the non-disparagement clause. He couldn't come out and say, and the rule. This is really funny. I just kind of Googled a non-disparagement clause because it's not a non-defamation. Defamation is covered by defamation.
Right.
It's basically a speak no ill policy. Interesting. So if they use the phrase, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, which is maybe why we haven't heard from him. The suit seeks $300 million in damages, not only for Davis's losses, but also for loss of career opportunities after leaving Keller Williams, and losses from selling his business, allegedly at reduced prices, for the quote pain and suffering John's gone through. And Altman told Inman in a phone interview that, quote, there's a price for ruin someone's life. Apparently it's $300 million.
Apparently it's three. Yeah, you just put a, and it's okay. So it's.
We look forward to the facts coming out in court. That's what they said.
The fax machine. So, but this is super,
no, the facts, just the facts.
This is it's super clear and transparent to everyone, right? They're doing the same thing where they do an over ask of $300 million, then he's going to walk with a $12 million settlement or something, right? They'll settle out of court. We won't ever hear it about again, and he'll get some amount that they cannot disclose. It's not going to be 300 million, but it'll be still a pretty substantial sum. That'll be what happens. I'll predict that for sure.
Is the new CEO Josh Team? Who is he now?
No, Team left too. I think Keller went back after Team, and then are you looking it up?
No, I'm so also in an email statement, attorney Jacob Kring, speaking on behalf of Team, told Inman, Mr. Team agrees with Keller Williams that it's unfortunate that Mr. Davis has chosen this path. We intend to vigorously defend ourselves in a court of law.
It is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. So I'm on Keller Williams's website right here. So Gary Keller is the executive chairman of the board. Okay.
So what's Team?
Chris Cox. Oh man, sorry, you should have beeped that. He's the chief technology and digital officer.
Okay.
Stacy Heron is chief legal.
Okay.
Sajag Patel is the chief operating officer. Mark King is the president.
So who's team?
There's no CEO.
He's former KW president. I got it. Okay, so
They
the
don't do a
complaint
CEO,
also
they do a
names
president.
the complaint also names former KW president Josh Team.
Yeah, he left, and they have two presidents now. One is Bill Sudaroff. He's KW Worldwide,
Yeah.
and then Mark King is KWRI.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
Davis is suing Josh Team, Igna Dow, and
Wow.
Gary Keller.
This dude is
All three.
fully bought in, by the way. He's got the whole WI4C2 TES shirt on. If you're a Keller Williams agent, you know what that is. Oof.
Interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the court. I kind of like what Davis is doing though. He's like, hey, it's all going to come out in court. I'm not going to say anything. I mean, that's the way to go. That's smart.
Well, and it's just stop dragging people through the mud and stop making, people taint their images all the time on this, just going through social media, and except for Elon Musk, he does really well with this stuff. But so just cool. Yep. I know the truth and it'll come out in court.
Yep. Okay. Let's look at Airbnb. Would you rent a home?
Yes.
Okay. You'll rent a home. Would you stay in a vacation home that was in somebody else's backyard?
Absolutely.
Airbnb co-founder launches a new venture. It's called Backyard Home Ventures Samara. So the startup of Airbnb co-founder Joe Gabia began his in-house project for Airbnb, but soon has spun off to an independent company with backing from the short-term rental platform. So it's a separate company,
but under the same umbrella, maybe.
With backing from it. Yeah. It'll launch first in California, a state that's currently trying to boost its housing stock.
Yeah.
Deals with a massive housing crisis.
Well, remember, we made ADUs much more easy to make happen and much more easy to build. So
they're marketing prefabricated one-bedroom studio units they're calling Backyard to homeowners, hoping to capitalize off looser regulations on accessory units.
They provide the unit?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I need one of those in my backyard so I can move the studio and office back there.
And then
the endeavor was born as an internal project in 2016. Wow, they've been working on this a long time. Samara is the name of it. Samara, named for the Samara fruit, aims to take advantage of loosened regulations on ADUs in California. Let's see. California's law requiring splitters to live on the adjoining parcels. Okay, I'm reading through this really quickly here. Price of Samara homes will range from $299,000 for 430 square foot studio to $339,000. So are they renting them out or not? It just says that they're providing them.
Well, you buy it for $300,000 and then you get all the income or something.
I guess it's kind of bolstered by the rental platform, but it's not necessarily a rental product. I misread this the first time I ran through it, which honestly was really fast, but it looks like they're just providing the ADUs.
But I still have to buy it, right?
Yeah.
Well,
they're just selling ADUs.
Why not just build an ADU for less than the $300,000? I don't understand.
I mean, they're saying that they're nice though. 430 square foot studio for $339,000.
Right, but if I have it built myself, I can build.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, like $299 for 430 square feet, $339 for 550 square feet. Interesting. Come with sleeping area and a kitchen.
I don't know how charging $350,000 for 500 square feet is going to help the housing crisis in California. I don't see.
I mean, more inventory, right? More inventory.
But it's not. It's just short-term ADUs, though. It's short-term.
Yeah, rental. I mean, I the first time I read through this, I totally thought it was rental because of all the Airbnb talk and the rental platform and all that stuff. I totally missed the fact they were just selling them.
It's like they're trying to help people. So what they're doing is if you don't have an extra house laying around to rent out or to Airbnb, we're going to give you one. You can buy one from us.
You can buy one, but they're not talking about, I guess they just would want you to list it on Airbnb.
Right. What if you go to
Yeah.
And what's the ROI on that? Like, how long would it take for you to get your investment back? And are they giving incentives or anything, or like what's?
Dusty has a great question. She said, "Wait, is this why VRBO is putting out ads talking about how the VRBO owner isn't there?"
Seems like it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Seems like it.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay, so the last time we talked about these type of small units, accessory dwelling units, it was actually in the context of like 3D printed units, right?
Yes.
But what if you could 3D print some big houses? That's going on in Austin. Take a look inside the only large-scale 3D printed housing development in the U.S. So this is in Austin, Texas. It looks like a project that more like a NASA project than home construction site. Just outside of Austin, Texas, massive machines are squeezing out, literally, 100 3 and 4 bedroom homes in the first major housing developments 3D printed on site. Of the nation's largest home builders, Lennar is partnering with Icon, a 3D printing company, to develop this project. Lennar was an early investor in Icon, which has printed about a dozen homes in Texas. Is Lennar in California, Dan?
Oh yeah, they're huge.
There's a lot of discussion about this. The first 100 homes we expect to be able to bring to this scale and scale. Wait, this doesn't make sense. They want to bring the times down and the cost down.
Yeah.
Icon claims it can build the entire wall system from home, which includes mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, 3 times faster than traditional home, 30% of the cost. We exceed code requirements for all the different kinds of strength, wind, comprehensive strength by 4 times. So let me show you a picture.
Yeah, because remember, when we've covered this before, what they do is they build the entire base and the walls and the internal structures, and then the roof is still wood.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what they're doing here. And is this really the only picture you guys got? This is the machine squeezing out the stuff. Oh, you can't see it here. Add to stream. That's this arm, this beam is a big machine squeezing out, as you can see, the 3D printing, which we've talked about before.
Concrete.
So the weird part, and I talked to a local agent there that said, look, the main problem with this is that Lennar's doing it. And he said that
don't mention his name.
Yeah, he said that the quality is suspect. And this is a source close to the matter. He says the quality is suspect, and he says that the way they're doing is the bottom level. It's 2-level homes, the bottom level being the 3D printing, and then they're building on top of that. And so he thinks that they're going to look weird.
Well, they do. I'm looking at some right. Oh, dude, you need to look up a quick search for 3D printed house Austin, and then you can show.
Okay. Is it a mock-up or is it the actual house?
No, this is Icon, an Austin startup focused on 3D printing technology, is planning to use its 3D printers to build 100 houses in Wolf Ranch by Hillwood. And these are actual. I don't know if they're mock-ups or not. I can't. They look like they're actual houses. These days. I know. I mean,
but this is the thing I'm looking at. Oh wait, wow, that's odd.
Did you
the
see
thing I'm looking at is a video from 2021, though. Is that what you're looking at?
I just saw like whatever came up.
All right. Well, let me share this without sharing the.
I'm just looking at images. You can just look at images.
It's already on YouTube.
Yeah. Mine's not going to show it very well. But
all right, here's one. That is. All right, we'll go to share this.
And they're different looking for sure, but that's a good thing in my opinion.
So do you like this one? You like that look?
I mean, all of them are legit looking. So I'm in California, if you guys didn't know, and every house here since 1972 looks exactly the same. It's just the same stuccoed, different color shade of brown house with some tile roof on top. They're literally the same big dumb boxes.
This kind of looks weird
better, but these are cool looking,
oh wait,
man.
you can't
I'd be a huge fan of this.
This one kind of looks odd.
That looks weird. You know what that looks like? That looks like 3D printed, and then they put one of those
just put a house on top of
it. Well, they put storage containers on the top.
It's
Okay.
it's an Adobe bottom with an ADU top.
So just two
Right.
pieces stuck together. But the other ones with the like legit roof on them, they're interesting. They're different. And it's if and Adam says 200K for a 200 square foot house. That's not a solution for affordable housing. That's crazy.
Is that what the pricing is? Let me go back to that. They said that they were supposed to eventually improve the pricing.
Well, they
But
better.
let's think about this though. They're starting. This doesn't make sense. They're starting a development. They're
Right.
going to be building the first phase, and on the second phase, they're going to improve the price.
Yeah, that's backwards.
That's backwards of what all builders do.
And also, if this takes, instead of 15, 16 people to build a house, and you still have to have the roof built, you still have to have electricity run, you still have to have plumbing run and all that. So those contractors still have to stay part of the equation. But if you have less people doing the foundation and putting up the actual, sticks of the home, wouldn't that save you? And then the material is just, all it is concrete. So they're trying to recoup their
robots
costs for the robot.
The robots can operate 24 hours a day, but they don't because of area noise restrictions. They're almost fully automated with just 3 workers on each home.
Right.
That's,
so
that's wild.
That's absolutely wild to me. And that sucks. We don't want to lose jobs, to the robots, because Skynet is a real thing and it's going to take over. But that's a Terminator joke, by the way.
Well, maybe we can have an Austin agent on the show to tell us a little bit more about this. These homes will go on the market in 2023, starting in the mid 400s.
I'm a huge fan of this, but
$400,000 for the first. It says, quote, "This is the first 100 homes, but we expect to be able to bring this to scale. And at scale, we really bring cycle times down, and we also bring costs down." It doesn't say bring price down. It says bring their cost down.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like doing a run of 20 shirts versus a run of 100 shirts.
So maybe they're not making nearly as much money on these first ones, probably, but they're hoping that the scale and everything goes up and they can make more.
Oh, there she is. We mentioned tiny homes, and look who shows up.
Is she here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Christina Smallhorn. She says manufactured modular homes are made with 60% automation.
There you go. I don't know.
Would you put a tiny concrete home in your backyard, Christina? I was thinking of Kristen Nielsen, who's in Silicon Valley.
Yeah. No. She said no.
She said no. No, you don't want to 3D print it, but you put an ADU behind your house, right? A tiny home,
Airbnb will give you one for $300,000.
She's got a YouTube video about it. You should drop the link. She's got a YouTube video about it, which was pretty rad.
All of her videos are pretty rad, and she puts fire in every single thumbnail. It's crazy.
Yes, she needs fire in all of them. Are you using it as your office yet? I'm asking her questions. Anyway,
what an odd. By the way, side note, what an odd conversation. Ray and I are 1,700 miles apart, and Ray is asking questions through the internet to someone commenting on Facebook, and it is her office. There you go.
And she's also very close to me compared to you. It is her office.
Yeah.
I'm asking questions I know the answer to make her talk about it more. Get that engagement up. Get that comment down below.
Yeah.
Christina. So if you haven't checked out her channel, guys should go check out her channel. She does all things tiny homes, modular homes. So if you liked these last couple of stories that we talked about, the ADUs from this would be, I hope you were here when we were talking about the Airbnb company called Backyard that is selling ADUs.
Yes.
Samara, for like $299,000, $330,000 for 530 square feet. Yeah. They look really nice though. But that would be a good, on her channel, she talks about that kind of stuff. So y'all go check it out.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, where can people find you?
I'm waiting for the music. Hey everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you guys jumping on. If you want to follow more of my content, go over to Instagram right here, DLudwigRocks, DLUDWIGROCKS. Ray, where can they find you?
You can find me at Ray Zorback, RAYZORBACK, wherever good Razorbacks are sold. And if you made it this far, I should also probably tell you that we have a little YouTube thing. It's a book club, and we're going through the YouTube formula. Christina's about to speak on it in a couple of weeks, maybe 4 weeks. She doesn't know it yet. She does. We talked about it, but we haven't talked about the specific day.
There's your invite right there, Christina. You're on the show.
This week, we're talking about chapter 16 of the book about engaging your viewers. And then next week, Malcolm Lawson, who's also another YouTuber, is going to pop by the week after Thanksgiving. And we should say that next week there will be no show here because of Thanksgiving week. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Until then, follow us on the YouTubes, connect with us, and please don't forget to share the show. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye. Go check on your friends. Tell them you love them. Love you.